Mining welcomes the news as we bring you a blow-by-blow account of a journalist who acted as an intermediary between the illegal miners and some members of Operation Vanguard, ranking member of the Finance Committee that passed the controversial Airbus deal, defends the committee's work, insisting a good job was done at the time. We hear from Dr. Anthony Akotose, who says the current parliament lacks the capacity to investigate the matter.
And in business, the city continues to appreciate strongly against the major currencies. We'll find out what has driven this strong growth.
We also have sports, and government says plans to evacuate Ghanaians in China following the outbreak of the deadly coronavirus disease is not off the cards as it commits 2.5 million Ghana cedis to support the National Preventive Action Plan. Later on Flipside. And as we get ready for the love experience at the Labadi Beach Hotel, the Love Poem Challenge is on. This time the battle lines are drawn between the politician and the journalist. You want to stay for details. Let's see who the winner is. You want to join us with WhatsApp is 0244 340 I am Emefa Apawu.
My name is Mensah.
A News Night is brought to you by Puma Card from Puma Energy, cash-free convenience. In our very first story for tonight, Joy News Checks is revealing tonight that 10 containers purportedly containing some of the 400 missing tricycles have been sighted at an undisclosed location in Tamale in the northern region. The tricycles were allegedly stolen from the Northern Development Authority in Tamale. Became a very topical issue. A youth group in the area linked to the NPP Kandahar boys allegedly forcibly took the tricycles away without the authorities' consent, reportedly on the orders of the regional minister.
Well, one of the occupants of the facility and executive director of Khalid, Mohammed Awar Babi Usmani, explains that the tricycles were brought to the premises by some of the Kandahar boys.
To set the record straight, I must tell you that we don't know anything about the containers. What we know is that they are actually in the yard here where we are renting, and the place is rented by two different organizations. We are two organizations here. Now, we don't know how come they came here. It was one Saturday evening that I was called, and they said they were breaking the walls of the office. So I came there and met young guys breaking the wall. So I asked them, what were you doing? And they told me that the landlord says they should come and open it, that they want to bring some goods. So that was all. Then I left and called the landlord. He didn't pick. So it was in the night he called, and he said yes, some people wanted to rent it. So by that they have not yet finished with the contract. That was all what we knew about it. Then the following day, after breaking the wall, I passed by. Then we saw that I counted about 4 or 5 articulated trucks loaded with containers. So the following Monday when we came, the place was flooded. That was all we knew. As to what was there, we don't know.
These tricycles, how many were they?
What I know is that 10 containers are seated here. As we speak, they are still there. That's what I can tell. As to how many tricycles, I cannot tell.
How do you know that these containers are containing the missing tricycles that has become a topical issue in the northern region?
It was also the same rounds because when they came, my accountant, I went out and came, and then she went and asked. One young guy came and was purported to be the leader. It was she contacted and asked, this thing you brought to the office, if they are bombs, how will you tell? Then he said, no, they cannot be bombs. They are tricycles. See where we got to know. Then
So that's Mohammed Awal Bapio. He's the executive director of Khalid, and Khalid is a non-governmental organization on whose premises these or container or the tricycles were found. Joining us is Ilyasu Tanko, has been monitoring this particular issue. He joins us on the line. Ilyasu, where is this container? You've been monitoring this. Give us the latest on it.
Well, as you heard Awal confirming to you the location of this particular tricycle. The location of Khalid is actually on the Chogu Road, and it's a very popular destination or area or spot here in Tamale. And so as I speak right now, 10 containers are still here. I counted 10, and as confirmed by Awal himself. What I also find at the premises is that some of the containers are open and they are currently empty. There are no contents in this particular containers that we have been able to see. And so exactly what we are also learning is that these containers have been standing there since the news broke about the missing tricycle at the NDA premises here in Tamale. So I can confirm really that these particular tricycles are standing currently at the facility, the Khalid facility here in Tamale.
So just for clarity, 10 containers you say, and how many tricycles were found?
40. We understand each container. We understand. We are not able to tell how many. Tricycles were brought in there, but we can tell that 10 containers actually are currently standing at the facility.
And do we know who owns this tricycles or the containers that we're talking about? Is it the missing tricycles that we've been looking for? Has it been confirmed?
Yes, exactly. I have been speaking to some members of the Kandahar Boys. In fact, the leadership of the Kandahar Boys here, they have confirmed to me that they had authority of some members of the New Patriotic Party here to pick up this particular containers or this particular consignment from the premises of the NDA here. And so I can confirm, or I can also confirm that these are the tricycle, because I spoke with some people who bought this particular tricycle, and they also confirmed to me that some individuals connected to or connected with Kandahar Boys sold this particular tricycle to them.
But Ilyasu, when exactly did these containers appear at this particular site? Do we know?
Well, we know that somewhere in October last year that it got missing at the NDA premises here, and immediately that the fired CEO, Dr. Majid, reported the incident to the police. That was when these particular containers were found around or in the Khalid premises here in Tamale.
So what you're saying is that these containers that are Khalid currently, they've always been there?
Yes, since a report emerged about the missing of this particular tricycle.
So from what you say, it must have been there since at least November?
October. This particular, yes.
So the containers have always been on the Khalid premises since October?
Yes, exactly. When this particular report of the missing tricycle at the end. In fact, when it was taken out, checks revealed that it was taken direct to that particular container, that particular facility, and it has been standing there since. It was at that particular premises that these tricycles were assembled and sold.
Okay, so they moved from the premises of the Northern Development Authority, was it? Just to clarify.
Yes, exactly. It was moved from there to that particular facility.
To the facility at Khalid, right?
Exactly.
The question then becomes, when did they discover that it's actually on the premises of Khalid? Do we know?
Not at all. I mean, we discovered that just last week. That we discovered, we were able to find that the containers are currently at that particular premises. But those who bought the tricycle and spoke to us confirmed that it has been there since October.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll try and get some more clarity from the Khalid boss on.
But Ilyasu, quickly, has there been any arrests in connection to this? Okay, it looks like we've lost him, but we are still working the lines, and we've been trying to speak to the police on this matter as well. And Evans, the regional crime officer, Superintendent Otui Champong, told us they've completed investigations into the missing tricycle case. They have submitted the report to the regional police commander.
We've also contacted the landlord of this facility where the tricycles were sent. If you've spoken to us, what else are we learning from it?
So he says there was no contract between the Kandahar boys and himself, and they only paid an amount with a request to use the premises of his facility for some days. That's what we know now.
I see. So that is interesting. So they to use his premises, and then they brought the containers there. Now we know that as of December, we have spoken to the police. I remember on Newsnight, and
no arrest had been made.
No, in fact, they were still looking for the tricycles, and they had not found them. And people were asking, listeners were asking, this number of tricycles, how is it possible that you cannot trace and track them? From what we heard, they've always been on the premises of Khalid. We can speak to the Mohammed Awab Babio Samani, who is the executive director of Khalid. Mohammed, thank you for your time here on Newsnight.
You're welcome.
I just want to clarify. So, do we know exactly when these containers got onto your premises? Can you walk us through the timelines?
As far as I know, the whole thing happened. It was on the 26th of October that passers-by called and said that they saw that they were breaking the walls of our office. So I came there. When I came and met young guys doing the breaking the walls. So I approached them and asked, why was it? Then they said they were doing it upon the orders of the landlord. So from there, I then moved and then called the landlord.
So who is this landlord? So this would be your landlord?
Yeah, our landlord.
Yes. Who is this person?
He's called Yahuza Idrisu.
Okay. Is he a known person in the society? Is he?
Well, I cannot tell.
Okay.
But I don't know whether, but he's the landlord.
Okay.
So he told me, yes, they were they called him, and that they said they were bringing some items there. So then once by then too, the house we are there with another company called M. Basiru Man Living Electrical Company Limited. So I contacted him, not knowing he also saw it, and called him. So he told both of us that he was aware of the containers. He was aware that some people were coming, but he didn't tell us what exactly they were bringing. So Sunday, that they started bringing the containers in. Monday, when we came to the office, before we came to the office, when they had already put the containers all over, we really actually did not know what was there in the container. But once they also rented our business. We are a tenant, and we have equal rights like any other tenant who is coming to occupy the place. So we don't have authority to question them what.
So did they open the containers and did they take out the tricycles at any point?
It took some time. When they brought the containers, they left. They were there for about a week. You understand? So after that, before they were not coming, and they were selling or distributing whatever they were doing.
Okay.
It was done daily. It was day life.
I see. So every day they'll come and remove some of the tricycles.
Every day.
And during this period, it became pretty topical across the country. It was almost on all airways that the police were looking for the tricycles. They're looking for the people who had moved them from the original premises. I don't know if you've heard at all, and whether that prompted you that something may be going on here.
I will be surprised. Well, in that case, it's better to talk to the Northern Development Authority, because I'm just wondering how the containers will move from their place, and then they haven't reported, and they haven't they cannot see where they are. Containers like this. So for that one, I cannot answer that.
Yeah. So are all the containers gone now, or from what we hear, they're still there, but not moved at all?
As we are speaking, they are still there.
Okay. Have the police been on site at all today?
No, I have not seen anybody here.
Okay. But the people who have been distributing the tricycles been there recently?
You know, as soon as they finish this thing, I don't see them.
So I see the containers are empty?
They are, well, those I saw some open. There's nothing in there. So I don't know whether all of them are empty. But there was one I saw, it was facing, when you are driving out, it's facing you. So that one is empty.
Thank you very much, sir. That is Mohammed Awa Samani. He is the executive director of Khalid. It's a non-governmental organization, and their premises became the venue for hosting these containers containing the tricycles. 400 of them. 400
of them. Now let's talk about another issue that's generated a lot of controversy. The excavators, maybe from tricycles, we talk about excavators. Because the suspended vice chairman of the governing NPP, Central Regional Secretariat, Horace Ewusi, is still in the custody of the police CID with 5 others nearly 24 hours after they were picked up for their alleged role in the disappearance of 500 excavators. Tonight, we have for you a fascinating account of a journalist who facilitated the payment of money to some members of Operation Vanguard from illegal miners whose excavators were seized. But first, the arrest follows a request by the Environment Minister for the police to probe the governing party executive for his role in carting the excavators seized by Operation Vanguard. The police, in a special operation, allegedly traced 34 of the missing excavators to an undisclosed location in Tema. Here's a news desk report.
So 21, 22, 20, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 33.
Voice of the police officer who led the special exercise tracking the excavators brought to this yard. The yard measures the size of a football field. On the front gate is the inscription, New Washing Bay. The yard has been taken over by weeds. I see one broken down excavator, 4 heavy-duty equipment batteries, and an abandoned vehicles parked in the yard. Interrogating suspects during the special exercise, it came to light that the excavators were allegedly brought to the yard by the MPP Central Regional Vice Chairman Horace Ewusi, but all were released except one.
Yes, we are in your yard. We need you here.
What's the problem?
We are looking for the excavators that was in your yard.
The owners have come for us.
Who is the owner? We want you here. Who is the owner?
The person who
Who is he?
It's called
Echo is he. Came for it.
Adum Online reported that police preliminary investigation suggests Mr. Ewusi authorized the release of the excavators parked at this yard.
So upon arresting the yard owner, any catcher in say we see now some machines. So we proceed. Any fire call is the other guys near the police station.
He is currently undergoing interrogation at the CID headquarters in Accra over his role in some missing excavators and other equipment seized from illegal mining operators. His arrest follows a request by the Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Professor Frimpong Boateng.
Right now, we have about 140 or so in our custody. We were told that 500 had been seized and given to the district assemblies and so on. Later on, when we went out to check, the number was far more than that. So we sent people out there to talk to the district assembly, and we got Vanguard involved, and most of them had disappeared.
According to the minister, Mr. Ewusi was contracted to cut excavators and other vehicles and pieces of equipment seized by Operation Vanguard to designated areas for safekeeping. Professor Boateng said the ministry had received information that he sent an unknown number of equipment to unauthorized locations, including one in Tema.
Now, the police CID some few minutes ago issued a statement on the arrest. My colleague Elton Brobe has been following this. He joins us in studio. Elton, what's the statement saying?
So, Emefa, they are saying that they have arrested 6 persons over the missing excavators and other equipment seized by the operatives of Operation Vanguard. Now, suspect Eko Ewusi, who was contracted to take custody of the seized equipment, was arrested yesterday, Monday, February 2nd, 2020, at Abulimpe, Accra, together with 5 others accomplices, namely Frederick Ewusi, Joel Asamoah, Adam Haruna, Frank Jain, and John Ahem. Now, Eko Ewusi, Frederick Ewusi, and Joel Asamoah have been cautioned on the offense of stealing, whilst Adam Haruna, Frank Jan, and John Ahin have been cautioned on the offense of abetment of stealing. All suspects, according to the police, are in custody. The public is assured that the process will be followed through. That's according to the police.
Now, Elton, you have a fascinating account of a journalist who facilitated the payment of money to some members of Operation Vanguard from illegal miners. What do we know?
So the timelines, as far as this story is concerned, is quite interesting. Now, this is Seth Mante. He describes himself as a reporter with Peace FM. And this statement he gave to the investigators, as far as this matter is concerned, is in his own handwriting. Now, he wrote this statement on the 16th of October 2019 at exactly 3:36 p.m. And this has been corroborated by the police. Now, according to him, and I want to quote here, I worked with the Central Regional Security Coordinator, John Oforiata, aka Commando, and his errand boy, and part of the team Galam Stop. Now, in the course of the operation, I became the contact boy for the miners whose excavators had been seized. The miners paid between 50,000 and 55,000 cedis into my account at NIB to influence the team for the seized excavators to be released. I then informed the team about the payment of the monies into my account, which I withdraw and give to Mr. Oforiata, who then give to Mr. Ekoewuzi of the Interministerial Committee. He added that I can estimate so far that we have released close to between 27 and 30 excavators undercover, but the money paid to my account have all been withdrawn and given to Mr. Oforiata, aka Commando. Now, this has been collaborated by the police. We are told that this particular account that the guy is referring to has been frozen by the police administration as part of their investigation into this matter.
Interesting developments. Now, Adum FM's Kwame Enum has been at the CID office all day. He joins us in studio live. Thank you very much, Kwame, for joining us. So, what's the latest on this arrest?
Right, so at the moment, the Special Task Force says that, in the afternoon, they requested that if you have, say, evidence of receipt, that maybe you've paid some monies to ECOWC, and then for a certain transaction, you should then bring the receipts for evidence. So this evening, they told us that some people have started bringing these evidences, and then and also we know from the CID that the 5 plus ECOWC are supposed to be with them until they have conducted investigations into the matter.
And they say how long that will be?
They didn't tell us. We are also aware that they went to his residence for further search, and they didn't disclose any of these information to us.
As to what they found at his residence. But did you see Mr. Ewusi today?
Well, I saw him. Unlike yesterday when he attempted to resist arrest, today he is very cooperative, he is very calm, and he's easygoing. But he still has that smile on his face, showing clearly that everything is well with him. Okay,
Kwame, thank you. But let's head to the Central Region Secretariat of the NPP quickly, because Richard Kojo Nyako has been finding out what the talk is amongst the party officials there. What did you find, Kojo?
Well, so what they indicate is that the man should not be referred to as the first vice chair of the MPP in the Central Region. That indeed, he was suspended, and they went through all the legal processes to suspend him indefinitely, and so he shouldn't be referred to as such. But what I've been gleaning from party constituency executives and regional executives is that, well, Kwesi shouldn't have been given that position in the first place, because they say that a petition had also even been tabled against him, and so it was wrong for the party to have nominated him to serve on the ministerial committee in terms of Galamsey, and so that is what they. But at a point, they said that they even questioned the source of wealth, where the money he has been doling out to the constituents and the region from. They didn't know the source of the wealth, and so they wanted the party to actually investigate where these monies were coming from, and so it resulted in the factions between him and other members of the party. So this is what I have been gleaning from the ground as far as this matter is concerned.
Thank you very much, Richard Kojo Nyako. There is our regional correspondent.
Well, let's speak to Ken Ashigbe. He was part of a group that led the campaign against illegal mining, the convener of the coalition against illegal mining. Mr. Ashigbe, thank you for your time here on Newsnight. You recently wrote demanding action on the missing excavators. The police have acted now. Your reaction?
Or even it just tells you the power that the media, the fourth estate of the realm, have. That it was because the media went to sleep. That's why we began losing this battle. So now that people are up to doing what you're doing, we're beginning to see results. It's good. These are just good beginnings, but we should not, dream that this is the end to itself. We need to ensure that we continue to shine the light so that the right things are done. There are several, on the face of it, laws that seem to have been broken. Why is it that these excavators, when the law says that when they are seized, they should be kept to the police, that they were given to other people? What has happened to the people who were supposed to be prosecuted for forfeiture, for the court to order forfeiture of these excavators? The interministerial committee themselves are talking about the fact that they were going to register all of these excavators, they were going to ensure that they tag them and then they track them. Why is it that this had not happened? Because if these had happened, then definitely it would have been difficult for these excavators to have been diverted, and we are currently at where we are. But it's good, and I think we need to acknowledge what the work that the police has done. But there's still a lot more that has to be done. We need to ensure that we account for every excavator, every equipment that was seized. It's not only excavators, there are vehicles that are involved. All the things that were seized by the Operation Vanguard, the Galam Stop people. We know that it's been said that some excavators have been sold into Cote d'Ivoire and other places. We need to ensure that we listen to the Concerned Small Scale Miners Association, who seem to know where some of these things are, investigate this and get to the bottom of it. But the media has to focus its laser lens on the police that have started this investigation and ensure that we can get to the bottom of it.
Well, I'm grateful, Mr. Shigbe, for joining us.
Now to the most topical issue of the week or of the day. Minister for Monitoring and Evaluation, Dr. Anthony Akutose, says the current parliament does not have capacity to investigate the region airbus scandal involving officials of the Mills Mahama administration. Dr. Akutose, who was ranking member on the Finance Committee of Parliament, which approved a €60 million loan for the purchase of the aircraft in 2011, says the committee did a good job with the scrutiny, asked whether Parliament should take interest and investigate. Dr. Osei insists that should be left to the special prosecutor.
All issues of procurement, Parliament must take the time and look at it.
And the thinking that probably Parliament didn't do a good job, which may have resulted in
I'll not say that. Parliament will take a decision based on the information it has at that time. So, that's why we have to establish the facts.
So, about 10 years down the line, should this Parliament be interested in what happened then? We know it's referred to the special prosecutor.
Any Parliament should always be interested in issues value for money. But this one is happening, it's not value for money. It's about bribery. That's beyond Parliament. That's not something that Parliament will pursue. Now that it has come up, Parliament can decide the best way to do it. But we are not talking about value for money here.
Okay, so then what could the approaches be? A parliamentary inquiry at the level of the Committee of Parliament?
The government of Ghana
what would the best approach be?
The government of Ghana the President has said that special prosecutor to look at it. We should allow the special, because it's an issue of bribery and corruption. That's what the law says they should look at.
And it's also about political linkages and the fact that leaders of political parties...
I don't know all the facts. It appears so. Well, we don't know the facts, so we should let the special prosecutor investigate and give us the facts.
But are you surprised? You've been in the finance space all this while. Are you surprised an issue like this is coming up, that a huge company as Airbus may have been involved in an effort to allegedly bribe officials?
I'm not.
How come are you not?
Because foreign companies engage in this all the time, and it's not only Airbus. In this case, they were caught. They've confessed.
Does that raise issues with probably the quality of the equipment that may have been brought in and the need for us to pay attention?
If you read it, you get that impression. But Parliament itself does not have the capacity to investigate about the quality or some laws from ITA. We don't have that capacity.
And we are still paying for the loan. Someone took the bribe or, money in connection with that, which...
We cannot stop somebody from taking a bribe.
That's the Minister for Monitoring and Evaluation, Dr. Anthony Akoto, saying he was a ranking member on the Finance Committee of Parliament when the €60 million loan was approved for the purchase of the aircraft. Joseph Opoku-Gapo, our parliamentary correspondent, joins us in studio. So, Joseph, how have MPs generally been reacting to this issue, knowing that it came before them?
Well, looks like they are all on the same page, insisting that there is not something that's worth another parliamentary inquiry of any sort, and that once the office of the special prosecutor is handling the matter, it should be left to them. And the MP for Bole Bamboy, who is the NDC MP there, where John Mahama used to be MP, thinks there is nothing substantive for any possible parliamentary inquiry or anything like that.
The man is not worried. In my local language, they say that somebody who are taking Gano soup, so much of it, he's the one who's worried about visiting the gen severally. He's not worried because he has not eaten any granuts. What I know is that this is a political era, and anything that they get, they want to put it on him in order that they will tarnish his image. But I can tell you that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, nothing is stopping him from going to the Flagstaff House, inshallah.
And you are saying for certain that he wasn't the official?
I am saying, of course, the evidence is there. You've gone through, have you read the judgment? There's no way in the judgment where, yes.
Should Parliament get involved?
If Parliament thinks that there is any prima facie case, they want to get involved. But I don't see it at all. I don't see it. The truth of the matter is that, yes, somebody was contracted as an agent, and that person was paid. That's where it ends.
So even a parliamentary inquiry at the level of defense,
it will be highly unnecessary. How are you going to even start it? It will be highly unnecessary.
Well, remember that the former Finance Minister Setekwe was also involved in looking at the financials. He's been explaining his office role in acquiring the aircraft.
Remember that we do the finances, which we take to Finance Committee of Parliament for the borrowing. Because I was just explaining, how the flows come in and you can borrow against it, like Terminal 3 and all that. So this was something that we had done, right? But when it comes to the physical, right, of the contract, then it's a sector ministry.
Okay, so
because we don't have military tacticians and whatever.
Okay, so when it came to a contract to be able to acquire the aircraft,
as with all contracts, you always prepare according to the finance agreement.
So the finance agreement is what you were
the works contract
between Ghana and Airbus.
No, we didn't do the finance agreement with Airbus.
Okay.
The finance agreement was with the banks that provided the borrowing.
The banks that are supposed to provide the borrowing.
Airbus was providing the aircraft. It's just like Sinopec.
Okay. So you're supposed to see to the due diligence and ensure that we are getting value for money.
Yes, of course. To make sure that yes.
That is Seth Tekwe there. My colleague Daniel Dadzi, host of the Super Morning Show, is on Newsnight tonight and is in the studio with me. You've been digging into this all morning, starting yesterday. Today there's a lot of input from some key individuals, particularly the anti-corruption angle, with Vitus Azev, the former executive secretary of the Ghana Integrity Initiative.
Yes, and Mr. Azim has been speaking to the fact that the Office of Special Prosecutor is investigating this. First of all, he agrees with the members of Parliament who say there's no need for parliamentary inquiry now that the Office of Special Prosecutor is looking into it. And he also says that the President, just like he speedily referred this to Mr. Martin Amidu, should also speedily refer other matters of corruption, alleged corruption, to his office.
Well, it's good news that the President has acted so promptly, as we have been calling for him to act in similar cases involving his own officials. But it's interesting. Friday came out and Sunday there was this instruction to the Office of Special Prosecutor. It is good news. Let's hope that the Special Prosecutor would take up the challenge and come out with findings that will help us to identify the people involved, find out whether there's any loss to the state, and whether such a loss, if there is, can be recovered, and all that.
You said it sounds interesting that the President immediately referred this to the Office of Special Prosecutor. Are you suggesting then that in other cases of corruption, he could have acted as swiftly?
Yes, I think that's what we normally expect of.
So that was Vitus Azim. We also had Suleiman Abrahima on the show. Now, he raised an interesting angle. He says that the former positions that Martin Amidu has held places him in sort of a conflicted
because
position.
He was also the Attorney General
and Interior Minister. He served on the Armed Forces Council. Let's hear Mr. Abrahima.
Mr. Martin Amidu was part of that government. And in fact,
at some point between 2010, January 2010 and January 2011, Mr. Martin Amidu was our Minister for the Interior. And by our constitution, he served on the Council of the Ghana Armed Forces. So it will be interesting to find out, does he know about it? I mean, in terms of the procurement. I'm talking about 2010.
So that was Suleiman Abrahima speaking there. Interestingly, our guest in studio was Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, Minority Member of Parliament for North Tong, who is also spokesperson for the minority when it comes to foreign affairs.
I remember he took issue with the disclosures made by Suleiman Abrahima, for example.
It wasn't a disclosure, it was an analysis.
And the conclusions he reached.
Thank you.
Pointing to the flag bearer of the NDC, he objected to that position quite
He
strongly.
objected vehemently. But when it came to Mr. Martin Amidu's position, he feels like that shouldn't be brought up because of the character of the person, Martin Amidu.
Let us allow investigation to continue.
Is Mr. Mahama government official one?
So far as I'm concerned, he is not. He is not. I mean, I know for a fact that President Mahama has always conducted himself above board. If you look at some of the facts in the deposition, it is really surprising that government official one will be meeting these people and
who is government official one
and all of that. We need to know. We need to know. I don't have a hunch, and I don't want to engage, in speculative work. I would rather that we all engage with the relevant authorities, and we should give all the support that Martin Amidu needs. People have raised concerns. Suleiman Abrahima has said that about
he could be in a position of conflicts
of interest and all of that. That is a genuine concern. But I'll say that, look, let's be willing to gloss over it. This is somebody who, even when he was in government, has shown that he can be independent as is expected of the Attorney General.
I mean, there's more on the morning show tomorrow on this.
Definitely, Evans. We're still digging. There's still more information that we are yet to uncover. And tomorrow we are being joined by the former Commissioner of Straj, Justice Emil Short. So it will be interesting to hear what he has to say. He's also dealt with some international cases, and maybe a Johnson case. And so we want to get some perspectives. That's on Corruption Watch tomorrow on the Super Morning Show.
Make a date with Daniel Dadzi and friends on the SMS. And Emefa, what is that pose?
Okay, so it's about a love poem.
Wow.
And it was on. You talked about the North Tongue MP, and he actually gave us his love poem.
No. There's a competition.
So the journalist versus the politician.
Yes.
Listen.
And your wishes shall be my command, just as we comply with the standing orders of Parliament.
Let's be intimate, like the relationship between my lips and the microphone.
So help us decide. Who won that contest? Is it the journalist's poem for the loved one?
And it looks like you're getting a lot of support. Some editors are joining us later for their version
but the thing about the editors is that they are biased because they are journalists as well. But let's the listeners judge.
Of course.
Between the journalist's poem and the MP's poem, which one will put you to bed like when you get a hug? Send me a WhatsApp 0244340437.
Did you say a hug?
Yes.
That will put you to sleep. Okay. That's after business. George Riafe has the very
That's what if you are wearing the pajamas, right?
Okay, so what's in business, George?
Well, coming up in business, government secures far more than expected in terms of Eurobond bids received from investors. You understand it could be hitting a little over $13 billion. And the city continues to appreciate strongly against some major currencies on the interbank market. You'll be finding out what is actually pushing this strong appreciation on the market. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your offers, essentials. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you?
Hello, Lieutenant. Thank you for showing up at our monthly meeting. I have some good news for you today. Electricity credit, Hey! Oh, relax. I am not increasing it. I just want you to know, from today, you have your own meter. So now you buy exactly what you want to use. Flexi bundling.
What's the customize, Anna?
Oh, yes. Just like that. And it doesn't expire too.
Life is good with MTN Flexi Bundle. Now you have full control to pick and choose your very own bundle packages. Whether you want to bundle 3 pesos, 20 pesos, 20 cities, 30 pesos, or even 115 cities, we dare for you. Just dial *138# or *170# to enter any amount. And bingo, you are good to go. So go ahead and enjoy bundles that don't expire. That's why we're good together. We dare for you everywhere you go.
Mr. Barr has big dreams for his business, Barr & Co. Limited, and his family, making them a reality man to long drives and queues. He's lost precious time struggling to pay his suppliers in China, Turkey, India, and other parts of the world. With the First National Bank global payment via our online banking enterprise, he now pays for all that in the convenience of his home or office, giving him time to focus on family and growing his business. Use our online banking enterprise to access Forex when you need it. It takes a bank that does more to help your family. So who's helping yours? First National Bank. How can we help you?
We give you nothing but the best. We stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Boost and Stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop. With customer satisfaction, it's a guarantee. Kingdom Boost and Stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, people. This is Kwabna, and the 14th of February is a love experience. Come, let's chill. Come, let's hang out. Come with your partner. Come with your loved ones. Come with family. Come with everybody. It's a love experience once again on the 14th.
To buy your tickets for the love experience with Becca and Kwabna via Momo, just dial *920*50#. Select the buy ticket option and select option 3 to purchase it.
I'm in Maumrani,
Joy 99.7 FM, radio for the discerning listener.
Welcome back to Business on News. Now, government has secured far more than expected in terms of Eurobond bids that are coming in from investors. Now, this is what we have picked up from the ongoing roadshow, which is actually concluding in London. Now, Joy Business understands that a little over $13 billion in bids are so far come in. And government, this is against the proposed $3 billion that is being targeted. Government could be proposing an interest range of 6 to 9%. But should we be surprised by this development? And are we likely to witness an oversubscribed Eurobond? That's the question I pose to lecturer and financial consultant, that is Dr. Lord Mensah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you look at the track records of our debt, we've been paying. And under no circumstance have we given the investor any hint of not being able to pay our coupons anytime, the time is due. So we should expect that, we'll get that kind of rush. And looking at the global trends in the investment space, clearly you could see that, the frontier market for which Ghana is part of it, the market of the day. And in the end, every investor is looking for this high interest rate environment.
Are you foreseeing an oversubscribed offer?
That's more or less a sign of oversubscription. If you're calling for 3 billion and then in the end 15 billion is right flying in front of you, it's a sign of the confidence that the investor have on your market.
But the government is looking at a range between 6 to 9%. Do you think it's a good range that we can sail through?
We've issued bonds that were paying around 10.25. I think the last time that we paid, my memory, I think I've lost memory of it. But then within 6 and 9, If we hit around 7, we should be, I would say, fine. That investor confidence is yielding something good for us.
Finance lecturer and consultant Dr. Lord Mensah. The Ghana cedi appears to be doing some wonders on the interbank market. It continues to appreciate strongly against all the major trading currencies. But is this a trend that is sustainable? And what should managers of the economy be doing to ensure that things doesn't get out of hand? We have more in the following Business Desk report.
This development has been described as interesting. This is because normally in the first quarter of the year, the cedi often depreciates against all major currencies. This is also based on the sudden pressure that usually comes on the cedi as most businesses look for dollars to finance their imports. Most multinationals are also said to be contributing to the pressure as they often start paying their dividend to shareholders outside the country at that time. There were even instances where one multinational was repatriating about $50 million every day outside the country in the name of dividend payments. All this helps put pressure on the cedi, resulting in its depreciation in the first quarter of each year. But for the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, the situation can be attributed to improved forex positioning, but they are concerned that it might be short-lived. The governor disagrees.
So yes, we expect that between now and September we will be using the reserves that we have built. And by the time the cocoa season starts, we will start a cycle of, building more reserves. And the bank tries as much as possible not to go below the minimum threshold. This is the 3 months of import cover. So at least as of today, we have 1 month of reserve cover that we can play with. That's the room with which we have to stay within our minimum threshold.
From 5 cedis 85 pesos late last year, the cedi is now selling at around 5 cedis 55 pesos. This is when you strike the average in terms of quotes that most of the major commercial banks are offering. On the spot market, some of the banks are even offering 5 cedis 40 pesos for $1. The cedi is likely to appreciate further when the $3 billion Eurobond cash hits the Bank of Ghana's account. The local currency is set to have appreciated by more than 3% against the dollar, the British pound, as well as the euro.
And that was a Business Desk report. Let's do the stock market. And the Ghana Stock Exchange is set to embark on some aggressive marketing drive to significantly improve listings on the market. The move is part of a broader strategy to encourage more firms to use the exchange to raise long-term funds. Ekwafezi is the managing director of the Ghana Stock Exchange. Oh, sorry, not be able to bring you that sound, and that's all for business on Newsnight.
Thank you very much, George. Let's take some of your messages that you've sent in via WhatsApp is 0244340437, and the challenge is on. I see your messages. This one from Henry in Alavanyo says, it's only funny how excavators can fly. This can only happen in Ghana, but I would like to know who have ordered the chairman to take care of the excavators and what follow-up did the instructor take until now. And Joshua from Kumasi says, just like the referendum that was withdrawn by the president, a lot of Ghanaians did not understand what it meant by voting yes for the referendum until NDC began explaining to Ghanaians the university's polls might be informed or misinformed by participants. And then this one also says, the timing of the release of the so-called research is mischievous. Kofi Seidu says, why must excavators confiscated by Operation Vanguard be given to an NPP executive for safekeeping? This is a deal gone bad by the NPP hierarchy. Musa in Kumasi says, I totally agree with Mr. Otokuno. Clearly, the survey is defective because they use non-probability, which falls under purposive sampling, and these findings cannot represent the views of Ghanaian population. In any case, he admitted that the organization is sympathetic to NPP. So their opinion impartial, hence through that findings to the dogs. Hashtag Newsnight, he says. Now, some results from the polls. I'll share them later. But let's do sports now with Benedict. So, Benedict.
Yes, Emefa. Now, the disciplinary committee of the Ghana Football Association has charged Dreams FC coach, that's Karim Zito, for misconduct after he cited a 1-0 defeat to Accra Hearts last Sunday in the Premier League. Now, Zito will be handed a match ban and a fine of 5,000 Ghana cedis so far his delinquency to match officials if found guilty. Now, the coach has been accused of making unsporting remarks against match officials for their performance in the game. Now, Coach Zito insists his concerns are legitimate and doesn't regret making those comments.
I said it because when you look at my record, maybe new referee Kuna, but this something has been happening to us. Coaches who do talk, and I don't know the abusive language I mean you see. If what I said at the press is what they used to ban media, and I don't think they are fair. I don't see anything abusive. It is my problem, Amika. And then coaches do talk. I don't see anything wrong for me to say. There's nothing wrong about it. At the end of the day, it will never change the result. If that will be the case here, and the point that we shouldn't go to the press, we shouldn't go. Because why do you call us to press? To tell us our view about the game. Then if I go to say this without mentioning your name, I don't have right to talk. Well, what would you call a tribunal means some another. Coaches in the world, they don't talk about the feelings against referees.
Very few of Coach Karim Zito speaking there. Now, Herbert Mensah has been re-elected as president of the Ghana Rugby Football Union. Now, today's special general meeting, the former Asante Kotoko CEO went unopposed after president of the Central and Western Region Rugby Association, James Nuno, pulled out of the race shortly before elections began. Herbert will be in charge of the association for the next 4 years, and defending champions Asante Kotoko have drawn second-tier side as Squad Deportivo in the round of 64 of the MTN FA Cup. Now, rivals Heart of Oak will make a short trip to Nungua to face down both also a lower division side. The draw was held today, and if you have some regional derbies involving Ghana Premier League sides, we'll have Kaila United. They will host Mediama SC in Takwa, and in Accra, Legon City will entertain Intala. Diana Stars Bichim United at the Nanajman Bidu Park in Doma, and then we'll have another tantalizing game. Yes, of course, and that's going to be between Heart of Lions and Wafa. And you know the book, Leaders Don't Have to Yell. You know, there's been some revelations in the book. Yes, of course. Now, he revealed that he was actually, his sacking in 2014 was politically motivated, with former Ghana President John Mahama playing a huge role. And there's a portion in the book, I don't know if you have time that you want me to quote. He says, Kwesi Nyantakyi, this is from the book. He said, Kwesi Nyantakyi, that's a former GFA president, called me to his office that day and informed me that he'd been asked by the president of the nation to relieve me of my duties. So he's referring to former President John Mahama. That was in 2014. Also, there's another part in the book which talks about former Black Stars player Sule Muntari insulting him using unprintable words in the presence of other players whilst during the 2014 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. That game was in Maseo in Ethiopia.
Revealing book that we must all read, and the results of the polls are in. But I'll tell you more about it. But let's talk about coronavirus. Today, Ghana has stepped up the fight against the deadly coronavirus disease as government commits 2.5 million Ghana cedis to support the activities of the National Coordinating Sectoral Committee leading the implementation of the preventive plan.
So far, 427 people have died in the epidemic, with over 20,000 confirmed cases. Now, addressing a news conference in Accra, the Health Minister Kweku Adjumamenu said the money is government's initial support for a startup plan.
The Ministry of Health continues to work with the development partners to monitor the situation and further strengthen systems to prevent the introduction of the outbreak in Ghana and detect early to contain it if it should occur. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to indicate that the government of Ghana is doing everything possible to prevent and protect against the outbreak and spread of the infection in Ghana. I wish to express my utmost gratitude to all development partners for their continuous support. The government of Ghana has allocated an amount of 2.5 million Ghana cedi as startup funds towards the implementation of the initial response for our national preparedness plan. The Ministry of Health has indicated a process to procure 10,000 pieces of personal protective equipment for the use of all our frontline workers. Arrangements are being made to procure insurance cover for all frontline workers who will be engaged in this exercise. We are in this together, and therefore call on the private sector and the development partners to give their full support to our national efforts in this period of preparedness.
Message. That's the Health Minister, Kweku Agyemang-Menu, today.
Well, it appears a lot of professions are keen on winning the battle of using terms in your profession to coin a romantic poem. There's one trending one since last night. I will disclose very shortly. We've heard from electricians and carpenters, guests who joined today. The Ghana Police Service. They say they are the most romantic, but can their words hit us like bullets?
Proximity to criminals has earned me experiences of the unsavory conditions, bedeviled lawbreakers. If I say I understand what the guy said, no.
I swear by my crown, I would not trade the abode for the nightly warmth in your comforting arms and daily scrutiny of your goddessness. Hey,
goddessness.
I'm dying.
Hey, I pledge myself to the service of Ghana with all my strength and with all my heart.
But to you, I pledge my soul, body, and mind. And oh, my entire salary too.
Be it far from us that you will be shocked.
Come on.
I shall be your Sally Fudagati.
Come on.
Just as he took the fall for our first gentleman of the land.
Oh, God. That reminds me, I can deploy the entire machinery of the service on a manhunt for any raider of our home 24 hours maximum. I love you is an understatement. I will stake my life out for you because I'm your bodyguard for life. Hey, Bruta.
Oh, that's the police there. It's not bad. It's not bad, you know. It's not bad at all. But
the competition is on.
It's on. I mean,
but before I tell you about the competition, you need to get your tickets. It's happening at the Labadi Beach Hotel on the 14th of February. And tickets going for 700 Ghana cedis and 2,000 Ghana cedis. Now let the competition begin.
But the competition they began already. Let's hear from the Member of Parliament. He's been weaving his own words.
We hear from the journalist first.
Oh, why? This is against my... anyway, let's hear from the journalist.
Love me like news in the night.
Oh, wow.
Puts me on top like top story.
Wow.
Don't want to be in the middle like midday news.
Are you serious?
The top.
Just the top.
Yeah.
Like top story.
Like top story. Let's be intimate. Like the relationship between my lip and the microphone.
And then...
So it turns out the journalist is yours truly. Mr. Okudito Ablakwa attempted to do his own representing his pals from Parliament.
And your wishes shall be my command, just as we comply with the standing orders of Parliament.
Let's be intimate, like the relationship between my lips and the microphone.
You would always have the final say in my life, like the Speaker of Parliament. I shall subject myself to your wishes as though they were rulings of the Privileges Committee. I will cherish our memories and keep them forever like the Hansard. I shall pay attention to your emotional and material needs like our daily scrutiny of the votes and proceedings. And your wishes shall be my command, just as we comply with the standing orders of Parliament. Wow. I tried, didn't I?
Oh, you tried.
And your messages, the votes. This one from Prince from Community 16 Tema says journalist poem. This one from Raymond East Legon says the MP's poem. Alote from Abokobi is voting for the journalist. And then Josephine from Kumasi says the MPs have won the competition. Ablakwa has won. And then Ora Justice says I go for MP.
And that's a tiebreaker.
And this one says give it to the journalist.
Yeah, so it's obvious, hands down. The journalist won. The journalist happens to be who?
Evans Mensah.
Yeah, baby, yours truly. That's it for News Night tonight.
I am Emefa Apawu.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.